Welcome to the lecture, guys. In this lecture, we'll be taking the most repeated questions you are being asked in NEET. So they are having higher probability to come in NEET 2020 examination also. My name is Anmol Kumar. I am MTech in Aerospace Engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and your instructor at IIT Pathshala, Delhi. So let us start with the lecture. So before starting the lecture, please like, share and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon also, and watch the video till the end because every question is carrying certain concepts and tips and tricks which will benefit you in your examination. Let us start with the following question over here. Now in this following question, you are being asked with the resulting nuclei and you are given with the following nuclei over here. So let us start with the basic concept. So you are representing the following nuclei by the convention AXZ, where A is nothing but your atomic mass number and Z is nothing but your atomic number. Atomic mass number is nothing but the total sum of the proton and the neutrons, or you can say that the total number of nucleons you are having, as well as Z is nothing but the total number of protons you are having. Now, if you are talking about the alpha decay, let us talk about alpha decay in a very crisp manner over here. So, in the alpha decay, the nucleus is splitting into the two parts, among which one of them is your alpha particle. So, your atomic number is being reduced by a number of 2. Your atomic number is being reduced by a number of 2, and your mass number is being reduced by a number of 4 over here. Now, if you talk about the beta decay, in the beta decay itself, your mass number is unchanged. Your mass number is unchanged and your atomic number is going up by 1. Okay, and you are getting rid of an electron over here, and both of the process will have some energy released during the process. Now, using the following information, if I incorporate into the my following question, what I'm seeing over here is XZA is my nucleus. Okay, so first my nucleus is going under alpha decay, so my atomic number is being reduced by 2 and my mass number is being reduced by 4 over here. Okay, after which this nuclei will be going under beta decay, resulting in elimination of an electron. Henceforth, I'll be getting my neutron getting converted into one proton, so my atomic number will going up by 1 over here and my mass number will remains unchanged. So this is my resulting nuclei. So you can check among the 4 options which one is correct. So in this following question, you are given with these 3 combination of the gates. Okay, and afterward you are being asked with the resultant gate. So there is a NOR gate, NAND gate and a NOT gate. So as you can see over here, first let me tell you, this NOR gate is nothing but the combination of OR and a NOT gate. NAND gate is nothing but a combination of NOT and an AND gate, and NOT gate is nothing but a discrete negating gate. Now, OR gate means you are adding the input. For example, I've made a truth table of OR gate over here. It hardly takes 1 or 2 seconds to make. Now, as you can see, if I'm giving this gate an input 1 at X and 0 at Y, then I'm having a result of 1 over here. So you are adding 1 plus 0 giving you a 1, 0 plus 1 giving you a 1, 0 plus 0 giving you a 1, 1 plus 1 giving you a 1. Moving toward the AND gate itself, as you know, AND gate is nothing but the multiplicity of the two input. You are multiplying the two input. So if you are having 1 at X and 0 at Y, 1 multiply 0 gives you a 0, and equivalently the following inputs give you the following outputs. NOT gate is the negating gate, so whatsoever you are giving to me, I'm negating it. So if you are giving me a 0, I'm negating it with 1. Okay, so I'm having a not 0. So what is not 0? It is 1. Okay, again you are giving me a 1, then I'm giving you a 0 because I'm negating your input. Okay, I am taking opposite to that of your input. Now if I incorporate the following information to my gate, which is my first is NOR gate, which is OR plus NOT gate. So whatsoever results you are having with your OR gate, you are negating the following result. So in the following you are having 1 1 0 0 1, then you will be negating the output of the OR gate and you are writing your own negated output, which is nothing but the opposite of the previous output. So if you are having 1, you are applying it to be 0. So if you are having 1, you are giving it a 0. Okay, so 0 plus 1 was coming out to be 1, and because you are having NOT gate at the output itself, so you are negating the output. So instead of 1 you will be writing 0. Now let us talk about the NAND gate itself. Again, the NAND gate is nothing but the combination of AND and NOT gate. Okay, so whatsoever you're having from your AND gate, you are just negating the following output. Okay, so 1 plus 0 will be giving you a 1. Okay, sorry, 1 multiply 0 is giving you a 0, so you are negating it. Okay, so you'll be getting a 1 over here. 0 multiply 1 is giving you a 0, so you are negating it, and you'll be having a 1 over here, and equivalently the other two outputs. Now if I see my following gates over here, you can make the truth table easily. Okay, so these are your provided inputs. This is your first output over here, so this is my NOR gate. So from the NOR gate table itself I can have the following output at Z. Now as you can see over here, Z is dividing into two parts, x1 and x2. Okay, so x1 and x2 will be having same values because it is coming from the parent output Z itself. So henceforth you are having two same values of x1 and x2. Okay, so now you are having a NAND gate over here. From the NAND gate table itself you can make the following output at x3. So you are having 0 0. So 0 multiply 0 giving you a 0, and you are negating the output of the AND gate giving you a 1. Okay, so just you have to go by the rules itself. So you'll be having x3 over here. Now it's a simple NOT gate over here, so you are negating this following output which you are getting at x3, and you're landing up with the following output over here. So this output is nothing but, if I compare with my following results over here, it is nothing but my NOR gate. So in the option A is correct, which is NOR gate. So let us talk about the following question over here. Now in this question you are being given with a prism which is carrying an angle of 30 degree, a refractive index of root 2, and one of the surface of the prism is being silvered. Now you are being asked, with the incident angle, you are incidenting your ray on this prism so that this ray retraces its path. So according to the concept of retrace, because now you are having a mirror and you are having a ray retracing its own path. Now if you apply the basic concept of retracing, you will be knowing that if I am having a plane mirror and if I am incidenting my ray at an angle of 90 degree, then I'll be getting the ray retracing its path at the same angle. Okay, so if I'm incidenting my angle at a 90 degree angle, then my reflection angle will also be 90 degree. Okay, by the law of the reflection itself. So now let us make a ray. I have named here it as XO. So I'm incidenting a ray XO, okay, which is going inside my prism, and it is incidenting at a point P at an angle 90 degree by the following logic. So now that's how this ray can go inside the prism and will retrace its own path. Now you have to figure out all the angles. Okay, so using the 10th and the 9th class geometry class itself, what I can say over here, and using the concept of the reflection itself, what I can say over here is my angle DOC is nothing but an angle of 90 degree, because it is a normal perpendicular to line. It is normal perpendicular line. Okay, and at point O your ray is falling. Okay, now my angle CPO is nothing but a 90 degree angle over here. Again I know that OCP is nothing but 30 degree as given to me. So first step to find the angle I is using the refractive law itself, which says sine I by sine R, because you are going from air to prism medium. So sine I by sine R should be equal to root 2. Okay, but now neither you are having I nor you are having r. You have to find I, but you are not having r. So in order to find r, what you can employ is, you can employ the following angle DOC, which says DOC is nothing but an angle of 90 degree. Okay, and DOC will be a sum of this angle R1 and this unknown angle theta over here. So from this triangle COP, I can find out the angle COP, which is nothing but 180 degree minus 30 degree plus 90 degree. Okay, by the law of triangle itself. So it is giving me that this angle, unknown angle theta, is coming out to be 60 degree over here. Now afterwards, because I am knowing that COD is nothing but 90 degree, so it will be a piece of cake for me to find for the angle R1 over here, which is nothing but 90 degree minus theta. So it is coming out to be 30 degree. It is coming out to be 30 degree. Okay. Now just put the following value of R1 over here in this following equation. You will be landing up with the value of I. Okay. So it is nothing but 45 degree. Now let us move to the next question. Now you will be saying that, oh sir, you'll be wondering that, okay, another gate problem, and it will take another few minutes to be solved. Okay, so let me tell you that you have to, sometime you have to apply logic also. So for example, in the following, as you can see, you must find out the output which is giving you to be 1. Okay, so in the following question, he's saying that you are being asked to give an output of 1. Okay, so using the following logic, I can just bypass all the methodology which I have done in the previous question itself, the long table methodology. What I can do over here is, look, you have to have a 1 over here. So this is an AND gate. AND gate is nothing but the multiplicity of the two inputs. Multiplicity of the two input, which is nothing but x1 and x2, and x2 is nothing but C. Okay, so C must be having a 1. C must be having a 1. Okay, so in the following options over here, every option is having a C with a 0. So please negate the following options. So you'll be left with this option over here, C. Okay, so now you can say that by the following logic of the AND gate, I can say that my C option is correct option. Okay, so DAB is ruled out because AND gate means multiplication of the two inputs, and only the option C is giving me the appropriate condition. Okay, so let us solve this following question. So it is being asked for the 4 years in AIPMT. So it's a pretty much easy but an important question. So in this question, as you can see over here, you are being given with a lift of 940 kg and a person of 60 kg is inside the lift. The lift is going upward by an acceleration of a equal to 1, where acceleration due to gravity is 10. Okay, now you have to find the tension inside the row. Now as per the Newton, you have to first draw the diagram, first draw the force diagram itself. Okay, free body diagram itself. So what I am taking over here is my lift and my person as of one body. Okay, so 940 plus 60 will gives me a mass of 1000 kg. So this body comprised of a mass of 1000 kg, which is I am assuming to be M. Okay, so this is my intended body. Now at this intended body, there is a tension T being applied, which is going away from the body due to this rope. Then the dynamic force Ma due to the acceleration itself, and the gravitational force in the downward direction itself. Okay, so now to write the equation of the motion, what we are going to do is F equal to Ma, as you know. Now whatsoever coming in the direction of acceleration, whatsoever coming in the direction which force, whatsoever force coming in the direction of this acceleration will be considered as to be positive, and the other forces will consider as to be negative. So as in the following case, you can see only tension is in the direction of Ma over here. So Ma equal to plus T, Ma equal to plus T, all the forces will be accounting over here in this F over here. Okay, so Ma equal to plus T, and because mg is in opposite direction to your a over here, I'm writing as minus mg. So the whole equation comes out to be ma equal to plus t minus mg. Now please apply the data inside the following equation and find for the t by yourself. I am getting 11,000 Newton, my option D. So this is most important question because it is readily asked in IIT JEE mains also. So in the following question, you are given with two waves with two different intensities, and these two intensities are in ratio 9:1. They are producing interference, and you have to find the ratio of the maximum and the minimum intensity. Now, if you don't know about the concept of intensity, let me tell you that intensity is nothing but it is proportional to your amplitude square. Okay, so now as you know that amplitude, if you find the resultant amplitude, you can write it by the following equation. Okay, and afterwards just replace a square, by I. Okay, according to the following relation. Now you'll be landing up with this expression over here. Okay, theta is the phase difference in between the two waves. Okay, now for the maximum intensity, mathematically this cos theta should be equal to plus 1. Now using the complete square method, you can form this following expression over here. For the minimum intensity, this cos theta should be carrying a minus 1. Using again the complete square method, you'll be landing up with the following expression over here. Now you have to take the ratio which is maximum over minimum. So you'll be landing up with the following expression over here. Now you are being given I1 upon I2 as 9:1. So just divide the whole equation by under root I2 as I have done as follow. And please replace all the digits. So you'll be landing up with the following expression over here. So please calculate. It's a much easy task for you to do. This is the most important conceptual question. Okay. So in this question, you are being asked that you are compressing a gas to half of its volume by using two different processes. First one is your isothermal, second one is your adiabatic process. Now you are being asked that which of the process is taking more work. Okay, so now if I take the graph of the following process, I can say that I'm starting with this volume V2, I'm going up to the volume V half because I'm compressing. Okay, then as you can see over here, what I've done is I've made the curves for you guys only. Okay, so the blue curve is representing an adiabatic process, the red curve is representing an isothermal process. Now as you can see, or as you know, that area under PV curve represent your work done. Now from the figure itself you can see that the work done by the adiabatic process, because area under the curve for this blue process is very much greater than the area under the curve for this red process over here, I can say that the work done in compressing the gas by the adiabatic process is greater than that of the isothermal process. So my option number B, compressing the gas through adiabatic process will require more work to be done, is the correct option. Now in the following question, you are being asked with the ratio of Planck's constant with that of moment of inertia. Now as you know, my angular momentum is nothing but nh over 2 pi, where h is Planck's constant and moment of inertia is nothing but mr square. Okay, find out the ratio of the following, which is mvr by mr square. Now you have to remember that this n is nothing but a integral number, 2 pi is nothing but a constant, both are dimensionless. So what I am doing over here is I am having the ratio of mvr, which is my angular momentum, with that of mr square over here. Okay, then I'll be landing up with the following ratio v by r. Then you have to replace v by r with the dimensional entities. V is nothing but the distance upon time, and distance is represented by L, time is represented by T. R is nothing but the radius, and it can be replaced by the length itself, the length dimension itself, giving me the resultant dimension of 1 by T, which is nothing but the frequency. So my A option is correct option. Okay guys, so hope you have learnt a lot from these question itself. Please like, share and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon also.